everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of Reputation Rebuild at Auxerre with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, mixed form mean that we've dropped a little bit in the table, not quite where I'd like us to be. January window has come and gone. We'll talk about that as well. And we play Grenoble in Ligue 2. So, let's get into the episode. So, we sit in fourth, which isn't quite as good as I'd like us to be at this point, really. It's been very, very mixed results. If we go and have a look into the fixture list, you can see, since you and I were together last for Caen, where we won 1-0, we got a couple of wins straight afterwards, which was great, but then a couple of losses after that as well. Now, Toulouse are one of the big guys in the league at the moment, so that's not too bad a result. But overall, this sort of 2-month period has been far too inconsistent for my liking. We're dropping off the pace just a little bit. We sit on 42 points. The leaders, Lorient, have 55. There's Toulouse in third place, just above us, and they're 7 points clear of us. And we've got a couple on our tail, so we're not in as good a position as I'd like to be at this point. It looks like a playoff position more than anything is most likely again. And that's a bit of a lottery. It's a hard playoff to get through, but we keep plugging away. So we have actually had a transfer window. The January transfer window has come and gone. If we go and have a look exactly what happened in it through the transfer history, you can see that a couple of players have left the club in this period, and only one has come in, and he is a youngster, well, not a youngster, he's a goalkeeper for our second tier side that the club bought and I didn't. It's been a really bad January, if I'm honest. Now, let's talk it through. Zidane left. He wasn't getting the football he wanted. He became very problematic, started throwing his toys out the pram. And so, in the end, it was best to get rid of him. Now, I thought, because 1.5 million was coming in, and I knew we were making a couple of other sales as well, that I would get some money to spend, a little bit, and some wages to spend on new players. And if we go and have a look, these are the 4 that we've sold. A couple of youngsters, again, that I wasn't going to get round to playing, so it wasn't worth keeping. And Sorgic as well has gone, because he was just coming to the end of his contract later on, and ultimately he wasn't getting played. So those are the 4 that came out of the club. I thought we would get some money. Obviously, the balance is not great, but look at this. They reduced the wage budget because of overall balance was so bad. Now, I absolutely understand that the club structure of finance is not good, but they reduced the wage budget. So we're currently spending 160 grand, and they've reduced it to 126 as a wage budget. So we're now well over that, and so there was nothing for me to play with, and so therefore I couldn't make any signings at all. They vetoed against everything that I did, basically. So there was nothing I could do. So we've now got a slightly weak squad, to be honest, to finish the rest of the season. I've had to bring up a young goalkeeper because it was just the only one literally I had in the club at the time. He's only 16 years old. So he's not going to play, is he? So Pizarro is going to have to. Pizzari is going to have to play most of the games, if not all of them, for the rest of the season. If he gets injured, I don't know what we're going to do. We've had loads of injuries in the last few weeks of the season through January. About 4 or 5 of our first team 11 were out with an injury at the same time, or a suspension, or something. And so that's one of the reasons why we lost a couple of games. It's just not gone very well. January has been a real problem, and there's nothing else I can do. We've reached the limit of how many players we can bring in on loan, so I couldn't do any more of those. It just didn't go very well. There you go. And we've got half a season to play to try and get into the playoffs, to make a good fist of it, to hopefully get some prize money in for going up, and then seeing if we can reinvest in the squad if we do go up. If we don't go up, I won't be playing another season, I can assure you. It's got to that point now. But anyway, we've got half a season to play. We're sitting in fourth. A playoff spot is still definitely ours. And today, we play Grenoble. So let's go and have a look at the competition page and find where they are. They're in 11th. So a reasonable side, a mid-table side, but one that we should be doing, good things against. So we'll see how we get on with that today. And if we start to lose more games and more ground on this top 3, there's 2 or 3 sort of like 3-4 sides behind us that are all just going to chip away at us. So we do have to find a way to get some points. So against Grenoble, you would hope that we would do it. The tactics of the side remain the same. It's not the tactic this time round that I'm thinking is our problem. The problem is that we've had an unsettled side through injury. We had a bad January transfer window, so we've lost a couple of players. And so it just feels like I need to get my first 11 back on the pitch, back playing regularly, all fit and healthy at the same time, and some of these results will come again. That's my feeling, but we'll have to wait and see. So there's a couple of issues to talk about for this particular game. We've got Belogu out. Cisse is coming back from a bit of a knock, but wouldn't have played anyway. The main guy that's out for today is Herrera. He's always been jaded, always needing a rest, and so we just have to give him one at this point. Try and bump this up a little bit so his conditioning and his match sharpness are all good, all at the same time, and then he can have a real impact on the rest of our season, I hope. So he's missing for today. So that means that the team for today's match is Plazzari in goal, Mbiwa and Suprayan in central defence, Setu at right back, Boto at left back, Adiotti, Chouameni, Ngando and Saki in central midfield, with Yanis and Mercier up top, with Wilson, Gaspar, Bernard, Gomez, Herrera, Lebihan and Murdy on the bench. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I actually went in aggressively and said I expect a win today to stop our bad run of form, and a couple of them were motivated by that, so that's decent. So let's get into the game and see how we get on against a Grenoble side that should, in theory, provide us with a tough enough test, but should absolutely fall at some point, having been a mid-table side for most of this season, and we're doing potentially better than that, so we'll see. But the confidence is a bit low. The momentum behind our play is not particularly high at the moment. So, those are all levelers, aren't they, really? And anything can happen for today. And it's Grenoble with a long throw down the right-hand side for them. But we win it in the defensive area, get it up to Yanis, who holds the play up very nicely, drops it back into midfield. We work it to the right-hand side for Setu, who drops it into a more defensive area. And we go right the way back to the goalkeeper. Now, I don't mind that. That's part of the vertical tiki-taka, going back to go forward occasionally, just up and down the pitch rather than side to side, just making sure that we keep the ball and do it well. And we have. We've worked it all the way back up to the strike force. There's Chouameni on the overlap in the... Oh, he had a good chance, overlapping run past the strikers into the box, had a strike at goal, but the goalkeeper parries it for a corner. The corner comes into the centre of the 6-yard box, but they win the headed clearance, and then they pick up the loose ball as well and run pretty much the whole length of the pitch down the left-hand side, maintaining possession. They drop it back again now and reset their play, and then the highlight goes. So we did have a good chance then from Chouameni, but didn't quite have the quality on the finish, which is unfortunate. We go in at half-time 0-0, 64% possession, 6 shots at goal, 4 on target. That's not a bad ratio of converting onto target, but none in the goal, which is the problem. They've only had a couple of shots themselves, though, so that's not too bad. And I think we're going to continue the aggressive form. The media have given you a lot of credit, so go and put a worthy display, and that boosts the motivation again. So we'll just put them straight back out. No need to change anybody at this precise second, but we will be doing so in a little while if nothing changes about the game. And it's Grenoble again down the right-hand side from a throw-in, taking their time, settling the play back down again. The cross comes over the top, and we just about get it cleared by Suprayan, but they pick up the loose ball wide out on that far touchline, and they work the play again. We get a foot in. It was almost a bit of a foul, it felt like, but we didn't get given. And then the game opens up for them down the left-hand side of the area, and they get a shot away at goal, but it was too close to the keeper, and he claims the ball. But we were, a little bit fortunate there. The right full-back area just seemed to just disintegrate completely, and they had a completely free area to have a decent shot at. Didn't quite make the most of it. 69 minutes gone. We're not quite at the races. We're not quite pushing them as much as I want us to. So we're going to go back in with a shout in a minute as well to see if we can push them forward. But it's time to make a couple of changes. So where do we need the changes to be? We're going to take Yanis out and put Lebihan in. He's done okay for us, Lebihan, this season. When he's played, he's got a reasonable average rating, so that's good. I think we're going to have to bring in Herrera in central midfield. He is a bit of a miss for us. Hopefully just playing him a little bit of a half here and there for a little while makes him improve his conditioning a little bit. And then the one that we've got at the back here, 69% of conditioning is Botto, so we'll take him out and put Bernard in, protect his legs a little bit and make sure that he's not going to pick up any silly injuries. Then we go into the shouts and we demand more, and we go into a more attacking style of play. And just for the last 10 minutes, see if we can absolutely find a way to sucker punch them at the end of the game and get a goal. But it doesn't look like it, does it? Time is fading fast here. We've literally got a few seconds and then it goes. From the point where we made our substitutions and went more attacking, literally nothing happened. Disappointing result in a way. It doesn't really arrest the run of form, does it? That sort of a 0-0 drab draw against a mid-table side. It's not going well, folks. It really isn't. It feels like the crest of a wave that we were on at the beginning of the season has well and truly crashed and burned, and we've now got to find our way back onto it again. So I suspect if we look at the analysis, we're not going to do chapter pages and titles and stuff today. We're just going to make it as simple to edit as possible through to the end of FM20, and then we will reinvigorate that aspect of the videos where we come back for FM21. But if we look in at the analysis page, you can see that we had more shots, we had more on target, we had a bit more possession, but the average ratings weren't the same. So we weren't doing enough with the things that we had at our disposal, especially on those shots. We had 8 shots on target, on goal, and 5 on target, and those 5 didn't breach the goal at all, and that's a big problem. The analysis page will show that we worked primarily centrally, but a little bit further out than normal, to be honest, and they tried to work right the way round us, and it kind of didn't work for them either, did it really? They didn't have too many shots at goal. And we had, again, always have a decent amount of central midfield possession, but we worked a lot down the left-hand side this time, maybe not as much centrally as we normally do. Botto and Bernard down that left-hand fullback role were obviously overlapping and creating an attacking position for us. And if we go and have a look at this is the shots. This is what we need to find out. Off-target shots, we'll just focus on our own. There's only 3 of them, but 2 of them were right in the middle of the box. You'd expect them to at least have been on target, really. And the other one is saved shots. 5 of them, all 5 on target that we had, were saved by the goalkeeper. So he had a good game, obviously, but it's not good enough. It's just really not good enough. When we've got our backs against the wall a little bit and we want to try and protect that playoff position, it's really it's really not good enough. We only had 1 clear-cut chance, and who did that fall to? That fell to Chouameni. Of course it did. We saw that chance, I think, and it just, he didn't quite have the quality on the finish, did he? Really? Let's go and look at mistakes and see whether we made any key mistakes. We lost the ball a few times, but that's it. There's nothing else really to tell there. Intercepted or interception missed, so we had chances to win the ball in our fullback areas particularly and didn't quite manage it. Just wasn't a very good game, was it? It was just a bit flat. And we'll take one last look at the shots at goal that we had. So if we take out the Grenoble ones and just focus on our own, it's too central, isn't it? That's why the goalkeeper was able to save the shots that he did primarily, is that they're all sitting right in the middle of the goal, right where the goalkeeper probably would have been. And then we sprayed it over the top a few times as well. And that's just not good enough. Really quite disappointed by today, if I'm totally honest. I was hoping that a mid-table side would obviously provide us with a decent game, but we would find a way to get those 3 points and put ourselves back on the winning track. And it hasn't happened, and we continue to sink a little bit, and I'm not happy about that. So let's continue the aggressive nature that we've been going through all this through this game. And I'm going to say, I want you in training tomorrow, because it was bad enough to warrant us to do more work. So we'll leave the match experience behind, and we'll go and see what that's done to the table. Everybody's on 24 played, and you can see that we're now, 6 points behind Toulouse. So they obviously had a bad day. And we are 3 points ahead of a couple of teams below us. So it's still closing in, isn't it? It's a bit of a problem. Anyway, There's nothing I can do about it at this precise second. We're going to have to go through the process of reinvigorating this side when the next game comes round. Maybe changing a couple of personnel, seeing who's on the periphery that can come in and bring a little bit more momentum to the play. But you're right, I do slam the side. The news article has got that right. They were not very good today. And that's basically going to do it. It's a disappointing day. We'll go into the schedule and just check out what's coming up next. We've got 2 more episodes to the end of this season, maybe 3 if we need to go through the playoffs. And that's looking more and more likely, isn't it? So what we're going to come back for is the Sochaux-Montbéliard game at the end of March. So there's another month or so for me to play through, get to that game. And then the last episode in an episode will be Troyes at the end of the season, unless we get into the playoffs. If we then get in a playoff and lose, we won't be coming back for another season. If we go through to the Ligue, we'll probably play 1 season there, probably. But even that at the moment is feeling a little bit beyond us. And I do not like these finances. And there's nothing I can do to bring it down anymore. Until we get to a summer, I'm going to have to do a huge clear out and bring in some real free transfer type bargains to be able to play next season, especially if we're in this division. It wouldn't work, would it? Anyway, stop me rambling, stop me complaining. It's just not going particularly well. But if you like people struggling in their Football Manager series, at the moment, it's a bit of a struggle. Anyway, that'll do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this, even if I didn't. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button for me. It helps me get seen by loads of other people. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.